Hey Sagittarius, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings. So we're going to take what works, we leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. And check your other major placements if I don't catch your wavelength or storyline on this one. Major placements are Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, for the most part. And then we're going to... we're having sort of a blast from the past, my original sort of configuration of cards coming back here from when I started the channel. And we're going to do the Oracle of Mystical Moments for an intuitive vibe, and then a more traditional reading with the Santa Muerte deck. And then we'll end it with, well, with my newest deck, the Kuan, Wild Kuan. All right, you have 4 cards here. Jumping out... Very interesting. Okay. So we have day and night here. So this is you having a new opportunity or a new life or some sort of new thing coming for you, but that's in your hands. It's happening already, right? But you've got something from your past that's still bothering you, still hanging on, still creating some doubts, or you're still carrying it. It's not, I mean... What's interesting to me is that we carry our past with us all of the time, right? But when is it ever fully processed? When is it ever fully healed? I feel like in some ways we're like snowballs of karma rolling down a snowy hill, and we just are collecting more and more and more experiences that need healing, and by the bottom we're just a giant ball of issues as life goes on. So we're trying to clean those out, we're trying to deal with them as we go, because we can't like make the whole thing stop and be like, so everything stop, I need to go deal with this trauma before I gain new experiences, or I need to stop doing something or figure something out, and I need life to just kind of stop while I do that. So, I mean, quarantine's been a little bit like that, but also a little bit not for a lot of people. So, but this is something that's affecting your ability to embrace a new beginning. So we all have like this bundle of past stuff that keeps building as we're growing, and no one can stop life and just be like, okay, stop the experiences. I need to process something. Okay, unpause, let's keep going now. I think I did what I need to do. It just keeps coming at you. So, but there's something back here, and this card is about needing more processing, or I don't even think it's a correction that needs to happen. It's just understand that this new beginning is being a little bit hindered by some sort of cloud of darkness or depression, or something from your past is hanging around in a way that's not allowing you to fully embrace that. Now, what you can do to switch that up, it is very difficult to fully difficult to impossible to fully rid yourself of the past, but this is calling you to do as much healing as possible so that you can enjoy the present a little more. And then we have Lullaby here. I love this guy coming in next. This is about really quieting down, slowing down, really listening. This deck has like 3 cards like this. Really listening to your own inner voice, your own inner emotions. This is letting this inner thing, your inner self, calm down and slow down, and see how calm that is inside his music there. It's a very peaceful, beautiful night. His intuition is shining there. There's some clarity here, but that clarity, it comes through calmness. See how his hat's over his eyes? He's not seeing, he's gone inward. His vision is inward right now. And he's really allowing this calmness. I'm loving the echoed moon here, this shape of this moon in here. And he's dealing with whatever emotions this comes up with. He's not even playing anymore. He's just sitting and vibing with it, right? It's called Lullaby. It's about listening to your own inner peace, because that inner peace is always there. I feel like we're always experiencing all the emotions all the time. Just some of them pop out and are more obvious based on our circumstances and what's going on. So, but that inner peace is really about It is always there, and it is, this is a card about accessing it and relaxing into it and just allowing yourself to just vibe with yourself. Like, don't think you're not thinking things through, you're not overthinking, you're just kind of sitting with your emotions and feeling them. You don't have to communicate with them, you don't have to make them into anything, you don't have to make them into art, you don't have to make them into music, you don't have to do anything but just experience whatever, and I think it has to do with this past thing, and whatever that thing is bringing up for you, or whatever. I think you just need to sit with it, experience it, let the feelings come, and then let the feelings go when they're ready to. Or there's something from your past that you need to feel more deeply and just vibe with. Don't think about it. I was talking to someone earlier. I cry about once a day at least. It's like a bodily function. It's like going poo. I just cry once a day at least. And half the time I don't even know why. It just kind of comes up. I let it out. A few minutes later we get back to our regular programming. Everything's fine. So I feel that a lot of processing is just physical, and we just let it come up. It's a bodily function. It's part of releasing toxins, releasing past issues. We don't even need to have a story attached to it. We don't need to think it through. Sometimes it's helpful. Sometimes it's just not. So half the time when I'm crying, I don't even know why, and it doesn't even bother me. It's just like, let's just not attach a story to it. Let's just not figure out why and then go fix it. Let's just experience it. Let it go, much like taking a shit. You don't really look at it and go like, I mean, sometimes it's fascinating, but most of the time you're just like, whatever, you don't really need to know exactly what meal that is that's leaving your body, the remnants of which are leaving your body right now. You don't really need to know. Sometimes it's very obvious, sometimes it's not. You don't really sit there and think about it all that hard. You just kind of like experience the release, the letting go of things you don't need anymore, of things that you've used up completely. And so it's like an emotional, oh my gosh, I haven't talked about this in years, an emotional digestive tract that you have, and just letting things go and not needing to inspect them and pinpoint exactly where that crying is coming from. It's just part of being a human. All right, so then we have home in the sky. There's some stagnant energy here, and it's a choice. You could be moving, you could be flying, you could be talking, you could be doing a lot of things. And actually, this also reminds me of Twitter and social media. Everybody's in their own little homes and boxes, and not really doing anything. I mean, we are, and it's a good tool, but there's something about that there. And then there's also something about Zoom meetings in this, but mostly there's just a stagnation. It's a choice to not be growing. It's a choice to not move. So this is possibly what's keeping you here in this past, is this choice to, you can move, you could move, you could, but there is, I want to say there's stagnant energy. There is a possibility that you're waiting for the right moment to come. And so I don't want to just say, oh, you've chosen stagnancy, but you could be waiting for an opportunity, waiting for something to move you forward and to bring you forward. Or you could just be choosing stagnancy. There's a bit of laziness in this. These are birds. They could be flying, but instead they're like, I just prefer to be comfy and cozy in my home. And then let the wind do the work. I'm just going to sit here. But they're not living true to their nature. They're not tweeting. They're not twittering, they're not flying, they're letting something else carry them, and for a time that's fine. But this looks like a lifestyle choice. There's a lot of smog in this picture. They're a little too at home here, and not really in touch with what they're supposed to be doing. And then we have keys on trees here. So this is you feeling trapped. Stuck in a place that's very uncomfortable for you, where you don't really belong. You've got a key here. There's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of, if this first key doesn't work, there's a lot more to try. So there's work to be done here, and you've got to get going on it. But you will want, the proper key is here. So this is whatever situation you're in, wherever you're feeling trapped or stuck. This could be feeling stuck. So this could be somebody else's doing, because this elephant didn't get here by themselves, right? So this could be somebody else's doing, and you're feeling stuck and trapped and stagnant, but you have resources and you have tools, but it is going to take work. So far you haven't chosen to do that work, but this tells you it's time to choose to do that work, and the right key is there. Do not stop when the first key does not work, right? How stupid would it be for this elephant to stay trapped here for the rest of its life until it dies, and someone just discovers a tower in the woods with a bunch of elephant bones mysteriously on top of it, right? When there's all these other keys, there's a bunch of options. So don't you dare stop when just the first thing you try doesn't work, right? Don't do that. They're here. The key is here. You need to find it. And it's going to take work on your part, but then you're free. Then you're free. So it almost looks like trying to figure out how to get over something from the past. You haven't been able to figure it out, so you've just kind of accepted this thing as something you're going to carry around with you for the rest of your life. But this reading so far is calling you to, one, just vibe with it first for a while, just let it be for a while, and then two, get to work on your healing here and getting over this thing. Otherwise, you're going to die with it as a problem. So it's like, are you ever going to be perfectly healed? No, but there's something here. There's more freedom available to you from this thing that happened in the past. There's more freedom, psychological freedom for you. But it is going to take work to find it. All right, now we're moving on to a more traditional tarot spread, possibly talking about different issues. This could be a whole tone shift, or this could relate to what's going on here. So Sagittarius, your past, your present, your inner landscape. What's at issue? Your environment, your to-do list, your possible outcome. Oh, I think it's a lot the same vibe. In your recent past, you've had something that's required all of your strength, your inner strength, to tame some inner demon here that's been wild, wreaking havoc, maybe even devouring the village people. And you have come in with all of your inner strength here and tamed something to the ground. This has required a huge amount of self-control, a huge amount of patience, and you've given it everything you've got. You've given it everything you've got to wrestle some sort of inner demon to the ground. So you can be very proud of that. You are clearly a very strong person. And then in your present situation, Scorpio just got this too. You have somebody. Could be you, could be somebody else. Somebody here in your current situation is a King of Pentacles. Very secure. They've worked very hard for what they have. Do not discount that. Don't think it came easy to them. It's a king, but this king did not inherit a great, massive, wealthy kingdom. They built it. They built it through hard work. And it's very secure. They're not going to lose it. I almost feel like this is someone who's very emotionally healthy, and they've put a huge amount of work into it. They have done the work to find these keys. And just because they're free now, do not think that this wasn't a hard thing that they went through. They worked very hard, and they're very secure in their freedom. Once you find that freedom from the past, or freedom from certain issues and ways of thinking, you have it. You can revert back to it during the growth process, but at some point it is yours. And you can own that process, and you can own those results. So this is someone that really owns the results and is very secure. Look, there's a lock on that treasure. They've got a lock on that treasure. It's theirs. They have it. They earned it. Nobody can take it away from them. So this is somebody. This could have to do with time. This could have to do with energy, money, housing, something like that. Usually it's very tangible, but I'm starting to understand the Pentacles as also being part of, like, time is money. So, and the Pentacles are always about investing time into something, investing time and effort into something. Like, they did not just sit here waiting for the wind to blow. They put work into it and effort into it. And it could be you. I mean, because here, you're showing up so strong right here. So strong. And whatever gains you have made, they're yours. They're secure. Do not worry about Do not worry about losing those gains. You've worked hard for whatever gains you have. Do not discount how you got here, where you are today. You've worked very hard for that, and you deserve it. And there's some sense of security. I think this is calling you with whatever growth, whatever inner struggle you've had to go through here, whatever gains you've made, you can be sure that they are now part of you. They've become part of your life. You worked very hard for them, and this is like, I'm feeling like this is like one of those checkpoints, or like in a video game where you level up, and you're not starting at the beginning of that level anymore. You're starting at the beginning of a new level. This sits right over the Santa Muerte card, Santa Muerte herself, the death card. So I do feel like there's an end of a cycle. What you have achieved, and there's no going back. You don't have to go back and repeat those lessons. You've done them. And they took all of your inner strength. You have these lessons down. You can be very secure in the growth that you've experienced, and in what you have. There's a lot of security in what you have. You have mastered something. You are the king of that level. You are leveling up. That's the next step, is to the next level of this process. But you can be secure in your growth. You're not going back down. You're not going back down to that level anymore. You're done with that level. What's in your inner landscape, your hopes, fears? We have wands here. We have 3 of wands. This is a highly intuitive situation. You're hoping that your intuition isn't leading you wrong. There's no light here. You've started to grow in a situation. You've been planted. You've got some ideas. You've got some great ideas. They're starting to grow, but they haven't seen the light of day yet. And you're hoping you're growing in the right direction. This is a card of a lot of faith. So even though there's no light, you can't see the light yet, you've still sprouted and you're still growing, and you're still committed to something, even though you're not seeing the results or seeing how it's all going to work out, or when do you reach the light? Is there light up there? But you're headed in the right direction with a huge amount of faith. And I think you're hoping that your faith is enough. And I think you're hoping that you're headed in the right direction, even though you cannot see it. So typically this is a card where we're watching our ships come in, we're watching them come towards us, or where we know that they're about to, right? But this, I'm feeling like this is about all of this growth you've been going through, and wondering if you're on the right track, worried that, where is that sun? You might be worried that you don't have enough faith. I mean, sometimes I don't have faith in things. I feel like they're going to happen, but I'm just like, I don't even know. And so there's this I grew up very religiously, so Bible verses come through here sometimes. And, it's that prayer of, Lord, help me with my lack of faith. Like, I don't necessarily fully believe in that this is the right path for me, even though I feel it, even though it's very clear to me that this is the right path. But help me with those parts that don't believe, because we all have these crises of faith, and they're very important because sometimes they lead us to drop bullshit and move on, and sometimes they're very helpful to us. So I think you're trying to have faith in this process, but it's very difficult. This could be having faith that your key is out there, that something that's going to work, something that's going to help you is out there. And I think you might be having a bit of a crisis of faith. That's why it came out in the reading of this card, that there might not be anything out there. That's what's going on. You're wrestling with faith and your lack of faith, but yet also you have some faith, but also you're like, okay, I tried one key, it did not work. Do I keep going? And this card is all about, you keep going, because that key is there. And I think you're going to be finding it. You get a lot of clarity by the end of this reading, for whatever time period that's for. So what's at issue is this reverse tower moment. So this could just be a tower moment. Just something's come in and kind of upset your life. It could be currently happening, could have already happened in the past. I don't know if we're talking about a possible thing. Sometimes it's things coming together very quickly that just creates a lot of discombobulation, and it's like having a baby really fast. It's very discombobulating if you have a fast labor. Slow labor, painful, but you get used to the idea of what's happening. Fast labor, you're just like, 1 minute I was asleep and the next minute there's a whole person in my arms and I do not know what the fuck just happened. So it could be just things coming together very quickly. This Tower card has a lot of quick movement and a lot of rearranging of your entire life movement, a lot of rearranging of your life. You've got two major arcana here that do talk about a pretty massive rearrangement that's either come through or you're in the middle of a rearrangement of your life. Now remember, the Tower card is the Lego tower that it gets blown apart, but it's for the purpose of building something new. So something's kind of getting blown apart here. You may be lacking faith in yourself. You may be lacking faith. Yeah, you may be lacking faith in yourself. You may be lacking faith that this is going to work out or that something's going to come together because you're in the middle of a big rearrangement of your whole life and possibly even who you are. This Tower moment could be this new beginning here. We've got two representations of pretty big new beginnings in your life, new situations, but you still have, and you may always have this. But there is more healing to be done. That's coming in very clearly. There's more. You've leveled up to a new level, but there's still some healing to be done. I mean, there always is, and there always will be. But this is calling your attention to it and saying that there may be some stagnancy here, and you need to get working on something internal that needs your attention and needs more healing. It could be related to this Tower moment that's come through. You may be not having a lot of faith in yourself, and that's actually probably something from the past that's probably the thing. If you're lacking faith in yourself to be able to get through this, that's probably a wound that needs some work on it. In your environment, you have the Ten of Pentacles. So the way this shows up in this deck is something that's is really another end of the cycle thing. Some situation, you've gotten everything you can out of it. I don't know if you can see it in the thing, but there's a treasure chest here. It's this treasure chest. It's full. I mean, this is, again, you're leveling up here. But you've got a memory of something in the past, but you have leveled up, right? But there's some healing that needs to be done. I feel like this reading is about that's over, and you can now safely do the work to heal it with, while new traumas are happening. But that particular situation is winding down here because you have, now that I'm seeing it, you have 4 cards just in this little spread here of leveling up. You're lacking faith in your abilities. You are incredibly strong, though. And here in this Ten of Pentacles, we have this treasure chest. This is what you've already learned, what you've already gained, what you already have. We have that here. But this whole farm has outlived its usefulness. You got so much out of the situation, but it's time to move on to another situation. We have the butterfly, the transformation here. It's time to level up from the caterpillar to the butterfly. The butterfly never goes back to being a caterpillar, right? So that's the kind of transformation you're in right now. You're not going to go back to being a caterpillar. It's time for you to move on. We have the feet here representing moving on. Moving to new ground, moving to a new place, maybe even physically moving to a new place, but mostly just you need to find a new ground. This ground is used up. You've gotten everything you can, all of the wealth you can out of the situation, everything you need out of the situation, and it's time to find a new place to root and to grow from. But you've reached sort of a maximum level. That's how the Ten of Pentacles reads in this deck, and I trust that the tarot knows exactly what deck I'm using. So, and then here's your to-do list. Is the Santa Muerte card. So day and night, you have this new beginning, but you have this night lingering. You need to close something out. You need to finish off this end. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize this. It must have been, she's pregnant. I'm talking about having a baby a little too fast, right? But this is calling you to do this transition, right? She's looking at the cradle. She's heavily pregnant. It's time for this new thing to come in. When she has the baby, she's no longer pregnant. So the pregnancy ends. I love the way this deck does this card. The pregnancy ends. That's the death, is the death of the pregnancy itself. But we have this new birth and we have this new life. And I really love this card. The focus on this particular deck and this particular card of this deck is the focus on that cradle. The situation is ripe. The situation is ready for you to bring in this new beginning. I love how she's holding this ball in her hand, and this looks like a little basketball about to be born, and this looks like a basketball in her hands. And so it's time. It's time. It's time to go into labor. Whether this is this could be a very fast process once you get going. like I was talking about before, or this could be a slower process, but it's time to cross a threshold. It's time to cross the threshold. And this is something you have to do. See, you've had the stagnant energy here, but it's time for you to get moving. It's time for you to move. It's time for you to cross the threshold. It's time for you to make this change. And it's almost like the video game is like, okay, it's time for you to level up. You finished that level. You actually never have to repeat that level unless you want to. You never have to repeat that level. You're leveling up. Every time you start this game, you're going to start at this next level. And then all you have to do is say, okay, check, or like, yes, I'm ready to be done with that level. And you just have to click that, right? But it's something you have to do, and it's something you have to accept, is that this level is over and you're moving on to the next level. You're not repeating this lesson. And this is what I feel like this is a little bit about, accepting and closing off this level. It's not that you're going to forget that you had that level. You can't forget, right? Because you're always going to be on this next level. Like every time you open up the game, you're on level 2, right? Every time you wake up, you'll be on level 2 or 12 or whatever we are, you know? But you're never going to forget the levels you went through, right? Before, you don't forget those, but there is a sense of needing to close it off and needing to understand that that period is done. And that's what you need to do. It's almost like you just need to click, yes, I'm ready for the next level. But you have to bring it in because you've been hanging out at this level. I think it's because, you know, it's an easy level. It's kind of fun to play for a while over and over again. Like, oh yeah, and then this part, and then I boop that, and then I go here, and then I jump that, and then it's like, you know, you're used to this level. It's comfortable for you, but you've gotten too comfortable on this level. And every time you get to the end of the level, the game says, are you ready for the next level? And you say no, and you go and repeat the level. Are you ready for the next level? No. So this is saying you are ready for the next level, and it is time for you to press yes, I am ready for the next level. You've got what you've got here. You've got all the treasure from this level that you've been at. There's no more to get. You know, this isn't a game that refills the treasure so you can keep getting more and more. You've got all the treasure from this level. It's yours. It's secure, and it's time for you to go on to the next one. This is a long reading, but this message is coming in very clear, and it feels very right. And where you're going, Queen of Swords, she knows what she knows. The Queen is very focused on her own path, her own truth. And this is where you're going with a lot of clarity, a lot of certainty, a lot of clarity on who you are, what you've been through. This Queen is battle worn. She does not want to fight anymore, but she will. She will. She'll do the level if she has to go back there, but she is battle worn and she's ready for the next thing. She doesn't want to do this battle anymore. She doesn't want to fight this battle anymore. That's why her sword is on her back and not, you know, in its scabbard and ready to be pulled out, you know. She's not in battle mode anymore. She's like, I'm done. I know what I know. I saw what I saw. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do something else. And she's headed home. She's headed home with all the clarity, all the wisdom, and everything she's earned here. We have a King of Pentacles. We have a Queen of Swords. So you're headed home here. And then we're going to look real quick at this Kuan Yin, Wild Kuan Yin deck. See if there's any final message for you. I love how polite this deck is. I want one card. It only ever gives me one card. Not only, but most of the time. Oh, yes, baby. Yeah. This is the Wounded card. Sitting here, look, here we have this sheep full of milk, full of goodness, ready to be, I mean, I used to milk cows by hand. I can see a full udder. I know a full udder when I see one. So the udder is full, but you're wounded here. This is okay, but it is time to move on. So Harvest Mother watches over me. The inner world offers powerful healing energy, creating space to receive it with love, patience, acceptance, and willingness to hear, feel, and honor all messages from our inner world with wisdom allows this inner medicine to work its healing magic. Yeah, just listening to this wound. Even if it seems unfathomable at an intellectual level, right? Unfathomable at an intellectual level. The inner world knows how to restore and heal every aspect of soul. We just need to invite it and allow it. So, could not have picked a more perfect card for you guys as well. All right, that was a long reading, but as always, I enjoy Sagittarius readings so much, and this one just felt really, really right to me. So I hope it's helpful for you. Thank you so much for your likes, subscribes, and comments. I really appreciate it.